At 4:12 a.m. on a freezing Tuesday morning, November 29, 2025, the silence in the high-security server rooms deep beneath Moscow was not broken by a siren, but by a flicker. A single critical error message appeared, then vanished. In the Russian Ministry of Defense's Integrated Supply Chain Management System, known as ISCMS. This wasn't a narratic. It was the final, definitive confirmation that Ukraine's secret unit had exposed a strategic flaw so catastrophic it could paralyze Russia's military machine and cost the Kremlin over $1 billion in sustained logistical losses. The war was about to move from the trenches to the digital veins of Russia's supply chain. For months, Ukraine's elite intelligence unit, codenamed Shadowbreaker, had been hunting for this single, structural vulnerability, the Achilles heel of Russian logistics. Their breakthrough began with the analysis of a recurring operational anomaly: the sudden, unexplained failure of Russian command and control, C2, during specific periods of atmospheric turbulence. It suggested a weakness, not in their frontline encryption, but in the architecture itself. The stakes could not be higher. If the flaw could be exploited, Ukraine wouldn't need 1,000 missiles. They would have a digital key to systemic, self-inflicted collapse. The Shadowbreaker's forensic analysis revealed that Russia's entire aging ISCMS, the digital framework coordinating every single tank refit, every ammunition train, and every spare part, relied heavily on a single, specific legacy communications satellite network. Crucially, the system contained a Soviet-era hardware flaw. Its high-bandwidth command synchronization protocols used poor, outdated encryption, highly susceptible to targeted electronic interference on a specific, narrow frequency band. This wasn't a vulnerability to be hacked. It was a vulnerability that could be jammed into paralysis. Paragraph 4. The mechanism of failure. Exploiting this flaw means Ukraine can initiate a sustained, specialized electronic warfare EU campaign targeting that single, narrow satellite frequency. The result is catastrophic: a sudden, total blindness and paralysis across Russia's logistics planning network. Maintenance cycles are missed. Thousands of equipment refit schedules are wiped clean. The flow of critically needed spare parts for aging T-72 tanks and artillery pieces halts entirely. This engineered bottleneck creates an unavoidable attrition gap that Russia's struggling defense industrial base cannot close, directly translating to over $1 billion in lost operational value and irreparable equipment decay. Paragraph 5. The digital scalpel. The Shadowbreaker's method was an ingenious blend of espionage. They used advanced AI tools to map the sea to failures and, crucially, deployed precise human intelligence, human assets to leverage internal corruption. By executing highly sophisticated phishing campaigns disguised as routine IT updates, they extracted low-level network diagrams. These diagrams provided the final, fatal confirmation: the entire ISCMS was reliant on that one vulnerable uplink. Their work was not physical sabotage, but a digital scalpel, providing the exact frequency and data packet structure needed to launch the attack. Paragraph 6. Preparing the counterstrike, this intelligence coup hands Ukraine unprecedented power. They can now choose to paralyze entire operational sectors of the Russian military on demand, simply by initiating a low-power, persistent EW attack. The immediate strategic implication is profound. Russia will be forced to divert precious mobile anti-drone and anti-U systems away from the front line and back toward protecting rear area communications towers, bleeding combat power, just to keep their system talking. The exposure of this systemic flaw will ripple far beyond the battlefield, confirms to the world that Russia's military infrastructure is fundamentally flawed. Global arms buyers will now heavily scrutinize the reliability of Russian command and control systems, leading to a massive, long-term financial and reputational crisis for Moscow's defense exports. Russia's immediate countermeasure will likely involve desperate, rushed shifts to highly insecure terrestrial or civilian communication networks, creating new, unforeseen security gaps. The psychological impact on the Russian high command is devastating. They can handle a missile strike or a tank loss, but a flaw they cannot patch, a vulnerability baked into the original architecture, creates an unsolvable problem. The entire command structure now fights under the constant demoralizing shadow of potential instantaneous blindness. The Shadowbreaker unit has achieved a unique form of dominance, making the enemy fear the airwaves more than the artillery. The success of the Shadowbreaker unit underscores the absolute dominance of asymmetric warfare. This operation demonstrates that ingenuity, specialized units, and the precise targeting of structural weaknesses are far greater force multipliers than brute military size. The war's future is confirmed. It will be decided not by who has the most tanks, but by who controls the information flow and who can dismantle billion-dollar systems with a single, precisely targeted intelligence strike. The discovery of Russia's billion-dollar breakdown is a testament to the courage and ingenuity of Ukraine's intelligence services. This strategic vulnerability is a ticking clock, guaranteeing that the path to a sustained Russian offensive will be blocked by internal chaos and self-inflicted collapse. The question is not if the ISCMS system will fail, but when Ukraine will choose to flip the switch and paralyze the network for good. Subscribe for more exclusive analysis on the evolving military strategy behind the headlines.